Okay, come out here Sunday to make video. We got some canned videos I'm probably going to put up during the week a little bit because I got something I got to do. But bring you back up to speed on what's been going on. Just rocking pretty steady. Yesterday was working on Barb's Jeep Day. It was supposed to be muffler building day. And she says, no, there's a couple things I want. I want my dang old door latches working. I had to laugh because it didn't have the rods in the driver's door. You had to roll the window down. It's just an old crusty Jeep. We're going to turn it into something, though. We're going to turn it into quite a grand little vehicle. Bouncy little suckers going down the road, but it's way cool. So we built rods for the driver's door, and we got the passenger door where that worked just like it's supposed to. And now calling hers up, getting some supplies, so I don't have to do it Tuesday. And they're bringing back a muffler. We're going to, a little later today here when they get back, put a muffler on it. And Barb will be driving in style. Yeah, I think we ought to put a Cadillac emblem on it. Train Grill, I got the saw, buddy. I'm going to show you what Train sent me. Train sent me a 394. Yep, he did. I took the muffler off. We may or may not have to do a cylinder. I know we'll do a piston, but it's got everything going. It's got a nice handle. What's funny is that 394 that I got up, it's right over here. That one, that's got a new top and everything on it. I could actually take the two saws and make one fine saw now. When you do these saws upright, proper port work, muffler, they'll surprise you. These 394s will really, they got it. They really got it. But this was an industry standard for a lot of years. Train, buddy. Thanks, man. This is definitely something I can work off of. I definitely can. It handles nice and straight on it. It recoil works. Flywheel's got a couple fins missing, and we don't care. Just happen to have one. This one actually could go into a really wild direction if I wanted to. But I'd like to have one of these with just good port work. There was a runner. If we get a third one, maybe we'll go ahead and build a crazy one. But, talking about crazy, we have a nice little addition. See that little benchtop lathe over there? That's a game changer in this house. Oh yeah, it is. I'm going to show you something. Let me get some of my debris out of the way here. Okay, this is that saw that we're doing the reed in. You've seen this put the reed cage in. Okay, we took the timing out of the intake. You can see that's just wide open. There's no timing in the intake. It takes more than that. Now, this is a 372 cylinder. This is a big bore. This is a 272 piston. On that little lathe, I machined myself a nice dome for this build, for this reed saw build. And not only that, we got our window in our piston. That lets that reed go as much as 180 degrees. It's pulling air. You can't go that far without reeds. If I had a mind to, you've heard me talk about boost ports. I could cut right there and right there and take that channel and actually take a piece of this right out, and I would have a boost port. You know, as you know, you got your primaries here and your secondaries here, and then I could put a boost port. I don't know if I'll do that right now because I got more of this kind of stuff I'm going to build. Beautiful little reed, I'll show you. Those of you that didn't see that video, Yeah, you dirt bike guys know what that is, don't you? Yeah, a little set of carbon fiber reeds, and they drop in right there. My little intake goes on right here, and then the carburetor mounts. It's going to be rubber mounted. Everything's going to be the throttle cable and everything's in a stock location. But when you have that window, I'll put it in upside down. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. You can see, maybe you can see just a little if I get that light right. Let's just see what we can set up here for you. See that window? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. Oh, and that keeps that open all the time. It does. Obviously, the piston goes in this way. And about right there is as far as that piston comes down. But see, that's open and fat. That's the minute that starts changing direction, you see, that's already open, see? When you time your piston, it depends on what you're really trying to accomplish if you use this method here. When that starts to move, you want that open already, which it is, see? And it's always open just a whisker. That gives that reed time to relax before it has to come to the next cycle. So I think that's really interesting. And I'm quite excited about this little build here because honestly, these reeds they really are a game changer. I'm not actually working out here today. What I was doing was getting just a little more clearance. Just a little bit. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to harden this piston. And I'll let you know how I make out on that. What we have to do is you have to heat that, hold it for a given time, and then you just quench it in cold water. And it makes that fairly hard. But I want as strong of a piston as I can. The one thing I haven't done yet is I haven't cleaned up on the inside yet. You know, see them little spots like we did on that last piston. I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to. I don't want any stress risers. I want a nice smooth surfaces with a saw. This actually probably is going to give Junkyard Dog a run for his money. And we haven't even got that. Well, I run it in the wood a little bit. I'm impressed so far, but we haven't went and run saws yet. We may run them tomorrow. Let's see what happens. I've got Dan Timonetti's saw. I'm finishing up, and we got saws here apart that I want to put together. We have a pooling coming up for Buck and Billy. We got to build there. I'll show you the deal on that. That's a reed saw also. And these 372s were not reed saws. They weren't. But why not? Why can't we? We can, can't we? Yeah, you dirt bike guys see that. Say, dang, that looks like CR500 piston, don't it? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? We're going to see how it works right soon. I like puttering that stuff at night. Or, when you got 20, 30 minutes, you don't. Most saw builds, when I do them, what I do is I want 4 or 5 hours undisturbed. And then you roll to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. That's what I like. It's just a better way to go. I hope you guys have a nice Sunday. Looks like we're going to get a little light rain. And our greenhouse, I haven't told you about that yet. Now, we've had some below freezing temperatures. The carrots, the cabbage, and the tomatoes are still going bonkers. I'll tell you what, the carrots and the cabbage really the last few weeks have turned right on. Uh, Next year, next spring, I'll be able to get a jump on the growing season. See, we had to get a jump on building a darn greenhouse, so we didn't really get much of a lead. But this spring, the stuff that likes the colder weather, like cabbage and carrots and the greens and stuff, we'll get them in early. And probably a couple weeks after we start that, then we'll start put our tomatoes in, and it'll be a lot of fun. We did pickles till heck no have it. We got a lot of pickles this year. This is our first year in about 7 years that our cucumbers actually mounted anything for whatever reason. And they just did. We didn't have them in the greenhouse. We had them on the south wall of it. Had to be something to do with that. Because it was just crazy good how much cucumbers we got, pickling cucumbers. And so I don't know if we got to do them next year. But we were down to 2 quarts of tomatoes. Well, this year we got all the tomatoes we want. We are making sauce, spaghetti sauce, and it's fantastic. Barb's right in the middle of doing apples, so she makes apple pie filling for us and a load of applesauce. I'll tell you, fantastic. I don't like applesauce out of the store. It don't taste like applesauce. But I guess that's what you get used to, You might not like our applesauce. I'm betting you would. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that little lathe. I'm going to tell you what. Mounting a cylinder on one of these buggers isn't as easy as you think. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and you machine shop guys will understand of this one. What I'm actually going to do is leave that little 3-jaw chuck on that. I'm going to turn a shaft to 1 inch. Flip it, turn it. And I'm going to build a faceplate chuck that's my version of a 4-jaw. You guys have seen in the machine shops, have seen it where you have a faceplate and then you have another plate on it that's locked down. It's got 4 bolts or 6 or whatever you want to do. And then what we'll be able to do is mount the cylinder either way. If we want to cut it off, make a head, we can, or this way. We can grab right a hold of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a hold of it between the fins, right in the middle. I'm going to build 2 collars that slide over each other that you can bolt that to the first plate, and then that goes on the lathe, and there'll be 4 bolts to hold that. Well, you get them just a little snug. Well, I'm going to put a short lead screw on all 4 of them so I can move just the faceplate. It'll be 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch or whatever. It don't have to be big, just bigger than this is all. Now, what that's going to allow me to do is grab a hold of the cylinder itself, not the fins. Okay? It'll let me flip either direction. Just use an indicator and get to 0, where you're straight, and lock that sucker down. And then once I'm straight, I can move that around and on the second plate, because you got your face plate and another plate the cylinder's bolted to. You can move any direction like this you want, So that'll be a fun project. That's a one of these days projects, what that is. We got a lot on the go right now, a lot. And I'm trying to get things done before winter and trying to get my hay here. And we're making some headway on our little muffler projects. We really are. Now, I'm just about ready to show you, but just not quite yet. We got Hogan's 2511T here, and we're piping that. That'll probably be the first thing I show you. And then Buckin got with me on a design he wanted to see. And that'll be second. Now that ram's horn muffler that we've been doing, we've decided mutually, Buckin and I, that the pipes for the ram is too small. Okay, it's just not flowing enough. We found a way to get more area. So far, so good. Let's just put it that way. I've cut that sucker about 15 times. I've cut that apart and done things different, to the point I couldn't even mount it up. But we're learning. We're really learning. A lot of this stuff with these pipes and these mufflers, I'll show you the deal, give you the measurements when it comes time, so you can do it yourself. There will be mufflers available, but at some point here, once I gotta get with my buddy Josh. I haven't talked to him in a month, and he probably thinks I forgot him. I ain't forgot you, Josh, if you're out there. And we have another guy that we're going to have build some way cool stuff when we get a little time. And so that'll be interesting. Now, my next step, I got to get me a little Bridgeport. I don't need a great big Bridgeport. I need a smaller Bridgeport. Or something like that with a DRO. DRO is a digital readout. And I don't need anything real fancy, but if we had a little Bridgeport with an indexing table, you would be surprised with this little tiny lathe what you can build. A lot of the parts in the world are small enough that little lathe will do it, as long as you can figure out how you want to do a setup on it. And I kind of know my way around lathes a little bit, but I'm no tool maker, I can tell you that right now. It's a byproduct of being a fabricator, you get lathe time, you have to figure things out. I'll tell you what I have done. I've done flame straightening in a lathe. Yeah, boy, you'd think a cutting torch and a lathe don't go good together, but when you got long rods that have to be trued, yeah, you just put dial indicators on them and you pinpoint heat where you want it to move. The darn thing will bow up. And then it'll come back, and it'll come back a little further. That's flame straightening. An old master taught me that. And he says, a lot of people don't get it, and he says, that's just something natural for you. Well, you warp enough stuff frickin' welding by overheating it, or getting too crazy and welding all of it at once. And then it's just all bowed up and puckered. You learn what that heat did to that metal, don't you? Yeah, you do. Okay, guys. Have a nice Sunday. I'm happy to be here with you. The comments have been I always say this, but it's always true. The comments have been phenomenal. I thank you guys so much for being here. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.